We're going to dive deep into the science of the concurrent training effect to help you optimize both your strength and your cardiovascular endurance. Look, if you've ever felt like your cardio routine is just slowly eating away at your hard-earned muscle, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to this. We're going to look at exactly what happens inside your body when you try to be both a marathon runner and a powerlifter at the exact same time.
To hook you right in, let's consider something called the decathlete paradox. The decathlon is often said to determine the world's greatest athlete, right? I mean, it demands this insane mix of speed, strength, and endurance. But here's a really fascinating question. Why do the world's premier decathletes perform up to 25% worse in their individual events than pure specialists? A decathlete's shot put, or say their 100-meter dash, is almost always outclassed by athletes who only focus on those single events. So what's actually holding them back? Well, this issue is brilliantly illustrated by Dr. Robert Hickson's landmark 1980 data. Hickson literally proved that combining endurance and strength training causes your strength gains to inevitably hit a wall and decline. If you look at the strength gains from resistance training alone, that top line, it just keeps climbing. But that middle line, that represents the concurrent training group, the people doing both cardio and strength. And right around the 10th week, their gains don't just plateau, they actually begin to drop. It's like your body just slams the brakes on getting stronger. To solve this mystery, we've broken this explainer down into 5 chapters. 1. The decathlete paradox. 2. The biology of building muscle. 3. The AMPK versus mTOR clash. 4. HIIT versus steady-state cardio. And 5. Keeping your gains. Okay, Chapter 1. The decathlete paradox. Cardio versus strength. Let's get into it.
So, resistance training drives protein accretion and muscle fiber growth. You apply a really high amount of force for a low volume of repetitions, and your body adapts by building a bigger, stronger, contractile apparatus. Pretty straightforward. But endurance training operates on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. It relies on low force and high volume to trigger a completely mutually exclusive response, an increase in capillary density, fatigue resistance, and mitochondrial abundance. You are essentially asking your body to build a highly fuel-efficient hybrid engine and a massive gas-guzzling monster truck engine on the exact same chassis.
Chapter 2. The biology of building muscle. Cellular adaptation.
To really get this, we need to understand a few things word for word, starting with mTOR. This is the master regulator inside your cells. When you lift heavy weights, the mechanical strain on your muscle fibers sends a signal that activates mTOR. Once activated, it initiates the translation of new muscle proteins. It literally tells your cellular machinery to stack ribosomes and synthesize the proteins needed to make your muscle fibers larger and more robust. Think of mTOR as the foreman on a construction site, just greenlighting the building of new muscle. On the flip side, we have AMPK. Now, this is an energy sensor that activates when endurance exercises deplete your cellular energy. When you go for a long run, you burn through your ATP, which is your cellular energy currency. AMPK senses this massive drop in energy and signals the body to build an endurance engine, specifically by creating more mitochondria so you can produce energy more efficiently in the future. Remember, AMPK is all about efficiency and survival. It doesn't care about growth.
Chapter 3. The AMPK versus mTMC1 clash. The molecular conflict.
Now here is where things get crazy. The molecular interference cascade happens in 3 distinct steps. Step 1. Endurance work depletes your cellular energy, which significantly increases the ratio of AMP to ATP. Step 2, this energy crisis sounds a huge alarm, strongly activating our energy sensor AMPK. And step 3, this is the killer blow for your gains. That activated AMPK directly suppresses mTOR and its downstream targets like S6K1. By activating AMPK through cardio, you are literally throwing a molecular kill switch on the protein synthesis that builds your muscle mass. Moving on to Chapter 4, HIIT versus steady-state cardio selection.
So how did different types of cardio actually impact this molecular clash? Well, a massive meta-analysis of the concurrent training literature reveals some vital distinctions. Higher volumes and frequencies of cardio inherently create higher interference. No surprise there. But the modality, the actual type of cardio you do, matters just as much. Running causes significantly higher interference compared to cycling. Why? Because running creates high levels of skeletal muscle damage, which dramatically exacerbates overreaching and systemic fatigue. Cycling, on the other hand, is lower impact. It triggers way less of that competing muscle damage, making it a much safer bet for preserving your strength adaptations. And then, of course, we have high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. You might actually think short bursts of cardio are better than those long, steady-state sessions, but actually, HIIT creates massive interference. This is because it recruits the exact same type 2 muscle fibers that your heavy, compound lifts target. When you stack high-intensity intervals on top of resistance training, you aren't just adding a separate stimulus, you're compounding fatigue on the exact same tissue. Plus, the sheer intensity of HIIT causes rapid glycogen depletion and massive AMPK activation, which rapidly narrows your window for protein synthesis. However, before you swear off cardio completely, the D'Souza study data demonstrates that it's not entirely a lost cause. These charts tracking cellular responses show that concurrent interval training doesn't necessarily blunt all hypertrophic signaling if, and this is a big if, the overall strength volume is managed carefully. In this specific study, a lower volume strength training protocol combined with intervals still allowed for similar strength gains over an 8-week period. The poison is really in the dose here, guys. Managing the total workload is what prevents that AMP cascade from completely overpowering your muscle-building pathways.
Finally, Chapter 5, Keeping Your Gains, Optimizing Your Split. So what's the playbook here? The crucial point to take away from all this biology is that you must treat your cardio strategically. First, separate your sessions, ideally by at least a few hours, if not on completely different days. Give that AMPK signal time to quiet down before you try to activate mTOR. Second, manage your total volume to prevent overreaching. The literature strongly suggests limiting cardio to just 2 or 3 sessions per week if building muscle is your main goal. And finally, keep HIIT away from your heavy leg days to prevent trashing those type 2 muscle fibers with totally competing signals. Based on the molecular biology we've just unpacked today, I want to leave you with this final thought to evaluate your own training regimen. Are your cardio and strength routines working together, or are they literally fighting a turf war inside your muscle cells?
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another science-backed fitness video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.